Hey guys, good morning. Brent, Abel here at WebTennis, and let's talk about this incoming high bouncing ball to your backhand. And I want to talk about a few solutions here to how to handle this shot, and kind of give them a degree of difficulty kind of rating, if you will. You know, number one is to kind of handle it as sort of a high backhand looper, where the ball bounces up, and you can see this incoming ball from Rafa bounces, you know, in here, and you can already see the trajectory of that ball coming right up into Roger's strike zone. Is it actually gets up a little bit high on him. This is really unclear. I apologize for that, but you know, this is really above the waist, kind of chest high, and he kind of throws in a little wrist flick looper, kind of a high looper up over the net, and you know, that's one solution to this shot that I think is really, the degree of difficulty is very, very tough. You know, a second solution is simply just to, you know, run around it, and you know, we're going to see that here on this, where you know, this is a pretty tough ball to get around. And you know, if you've just hit a cross-court forehand as Fed does here, this is a sharp angle. And you know, anything back over in here is typically a backhand for us. Well, you know, what does Roger do as he runs around this? And this is right on top of the baseline. I mean, this is absolutely the definition of a high bouncing ball that could come into your backhand. And the way that he solves it is he runs around it, and you know, goes ahead and plays a forehand back. I mean, this again, the degree of difficulty on this is very, very high, and you know, is not one that I recommend. The third option here, which I do recommend that we work on, is a slice. And the slice on the high bouncer, when it gets up high, is a little different than when the ball bounces well out in front and you play it about waist high. So contact point on this one, as we can see, is you know, is shoulder high, and you know, this takes a little different contact point, which I'm going to talk about in the upcoming tip later this week. But this is a great solution for how to handle this high bouncing ball rather than playing a, you know, a topspin drive. Is that you can play a slice on this. The fourth solution on this is to play the exact same shot that we worked on before, when the ball bounces, you know, bounces out in here and it kind of comes into your strike zone about waist high. Well, what Roger does here is he just goes through the same swing path as when we worked on before, even though the ball is coming in and bouncing deep. You know, this one's going to actually bounce up. Anything from Rafa off of that forehand is going to bounce up, but he plays the same stroke. He just takes it on the rise. And then the fifth solution to this, which of course I could not find with a Federer backhand, is to simply back way up, way behind the baseline, let the ball bounce up out in here, arc up into the, you know, the top of the bounce, and then be able to kind of play your backhand from way back here behind the baseline as the ball peaks into its bounce and then comes back down in your strike zone. I don't recommend that because, you know, two bad things happen. Number one, you can never take advantage of good shots from playing them here on the baseline. And then number two, the further back you get, the more opportunities you give your opponent to be able to work you around the court. So what I want to work on today is going to be giving you an idea of how to play this shot the same way that we did last week, where the ball bounced out in front of you. And it's the same thing I want you to work on. All that we're going to do is the ball's rising into the strike zone. And again, I want you to think about pinching these shoulders behind you as you go through the swing. And lots of times what happens here is when the ball's coming in on the rise like this, is players have a tendency to change the swing from as if it's coming in, just normal. It's just bouncing well out in front of you, and it kind of, goes up to the top of the bounce and it drops back down into your comfort zone. Well, I want you to think about the concept here, which is whether the ball's, bouncing and coming down in the strike zone or whether it's bouncing up into the strike zone, the swing doesn't change. And, what we saw last week is this pinching back here of the shoulders. And I want you to think about, that fundamental that we worked on and all the fundamentals that we worked on in the mini course at the end of last week. They all apply exactly the same as to when the ball is bouncing, down. The trajectory is coming down in the strike zone, as opposed to this one where it's just simply coming up. And so what I've got for you in this tip next, which is coming up in a couple days, I want to show you how to apply these 5 fundamentals we worked on in the mini course last week. I want to show you how to apply those 5 fundamentals on not only being able to drive the ball with a topspin, a one-handed topspin backhand drive, as the ball rises up off the court into that strike zone. But the other thing I'm going to show you too is I want to be able to show you how to play that slice backhand if you get caught a little bit back behind the baseline. I want to be able to show you how these 5 fundamentals work on this slice as well as this one-handed topspin backhand drive that we've been looking at for the last week or so. So, right below the video, what I want to hear from you is tell me what's your biggest challenge with trying to play a one-handed topspin backhand when the ball is coming to you and you've decided to take the ball on the rise. Talk to me about this situation here where you're really doing your best to stay pretty close to the baseline here, not give up court position by moving way back, especially when you play against someone who loves to loop the ball deep into your backhand side. What's the biggest challenge for you with trying to play this one-handed topspin backhand where the ball comes up off of the court, ball comes up off the court into your strike zone? Tell me below in the comment section, what's the biggest challenge you face with trying to play your one-handed topspin backhand on the rise? Right below. Looking forward to your comments. Have a great day out there.